What's going on, guys? Aggronix here, and welcome to this very brief analysis of the Team Galactic's draft for the Season 4 of the Elysian League. Now, let me explain a few things before we get into this Season 4. Season 4 of the Elysian Battle League, we are doing something completely different. We're throwing out all the old cliches, the old rules, you know, even though the rules are... It's still a Pokemon game, but the drafting and how you play is completely different. Each team consists of either 3 or 4 members, and those 3 or 4 members will draft 20 Pokemon. That's exactly what we did. After the draft, each team split up their 20 Pokemon into 10 Pokemon on each team. So 2 teams consisting of 10 Pokemon each. But obviously, the aim of it is to, create 2 teams of 10 mons that both have, U-turners, stealth rockers, hazard removal, good cores, synergy, stuff like that. And I believe that our team did very well. If you don't know, my partners are Humble Haunter and Infinite. Neither of them are YouTubers, but you guys know Infinite from week 4. That battle never went up, but you do know him. Infinite's a really awesome guy. Hopefully I'll have him on a video sometime, because he's really cool. And you guys obviously know Haunter. I did tons of videos with him for the APL monotype off season, and also he's a really sound guy as well. So that's what we did. We all actually drafted players as well. So I was a captain, so I drafted Haunter and Infinite because they were 2 chill guys, and I knew they were going to be great to have. Some other teams, like, dude, Joey, the dick that he is, drafted Zach and Six Pads as his co-captains. What the fuck, Joey? Calm the fuck down, right? It's not that serious. And you have other teams. This is our team right here, Haunter Infinite. You have Rio and Kraft is with Roggen. Roggen's very good. If you saw week 2 of the Elysian Sun and Moon tournament, we played Roggen. He's very skilled. Yodeler, Doric, and Swishy are all with what is it? Where is it? There it is, Sorsen. That should be a really scary team, Team Neoplasma. We're all named actually after evil organizations. So, jumping into our team, some of the other teams are very good, but like I said, we wanted to draft 20 mons that we could split into 10 mons for each team, and we wanted to make sure that the teams work well. So what we did was we wanted to take mons and build teams around them. And not only this, I was late to the draft. I was told that the draft would start at 1 AM my time, and it started at 11, and I showed up at half 11, and everything that we wanted, most of them, were gone, which is unfortunate. But, it's my fault, and I think we still have a really good team. The mons that we were talking about drafting were Jirachi, Mega Venusaur, because all these fairies, Mega Venusaur gets better every generation. It doesn't get worse at all, it gets better. We wanted Jirachi, Mega Venusaur, one of the Tapus possibly. We didn't get any of those, but we did get Hydreigon, which I really wanted. Hydreigon is fantastic in the draft league format. Actually, let's go to the full roster first, and then we'll talk about, how we split the teams. So, our draft was Hydreigon, Tornadus Therian. Oh shit. Let me do it. Hydreigon, Tornadus Therian, Infernape, Tentacruel, Uxie, Shiinotic, Miltank, Cloyster, Mega Sharpedo, Sandslash, Mamoswine, Fortress, Rotom-Wah, Chandelure, Togetic, Conkeldurr, Shaman, Heliolisk, Oranguru, and Alolan Raticate. So, what we did was, I drafted all the Pokemon. We all had our own ideas of what we wanted, and we all obviously chipped in, but at the end of the day, it was my call. So, I got to draft 4 Pokemon together, which was actually really beneficial, because I was able to draft 4 mons that worked perfectly together, because I was late. I showed up late, and they were like, alright, 4 rounds have gone past, so just pick 4 mons. And I was like, alright, I picked Hydreigon, Tornadus Therian, Infernape, and Tentacruel. Not for any reason particular. I mean, Tentacruel because it's great, and Hydreigon because I was told to. But Infernape and Tornadus were off the cuff. Tornadus and Infernape are both great. We have 3 U-turners in the first 2 rounds, or first 3 rounds. Like, that's great. These are 3 mods that I've wanted to use for a long time. And by the way, guys, we're going to be using both teams for a majority of the season. We might not play 2 games. It depends on how it goes. Because there are 3 players and there are 2 teams, that means 1 player doesn't play each week. But we're all going to jump in and out. So I might use Team A 1 week, Team B 1 week, the next week, and then not play the next week. And I'll obviously update you guys if we're not playing, and I might even talk about the games that were played if I don't play. Actually, that's what I'll do. Do you know what? The week that I don't play, I'm going to review the battles that Haunter and Infinite had. That sounds great to me. And also, if Infinite is sick or Haunter can't make the battle, I will obviously jump in for him, or the same goes for me. If I'm sick, I will ask Haunter or Infinite to jump in for me. So that's how it goes. The next pick I made straight off the cuff, Yuxi. Yuxi is just awesome. I absolutely love Yuxi. Ever since I used it in Season 3 of the Elysian League, I knew this mon is just... I love it. I honestly... there's no jokes about this. Yuxi is probably my favorite Pokemon and competitive Pokemon just because it's so reliable. U-turn, Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, decent coverage. I know it doesn't have the best offensive presence, but it has great coverage. And I think that makes up for it, honestly. Being able to hit Mons super effectively can make up for the lack of physical and special offensive presence. And you know what? I think I've used it pretty well. I've used it in Season 3, for the second half of Season 3 of the Elysian League. Obviously, we picked it up, and I picked it up on a whim. I saw it was a Stealth Rock or a U-turner. I thought it was pretty cool. Picked it up on a whim. It actually made the team, and that's not an exaggeration. If you go back, Yuxi was on every single team that I played with after I drafted it, and every single week it did something. So I was so excited to pick it up again. Not only that, we're using it in the EPL right now, and it's doing the exact same thing. Now, of course, in the EPL, I drafted much better this time, and I haven't needed to bring Yuxi every week, but Yuxi is still like a formidable mon. It's just great. I love Yuxi so much. We got Geonotic because I wanted a grass type and a fairy type. Miltank, another great stealth rocker, and it's just a bulky mon in general. Cloyster, Shell Smasher, I thought it was good for tier 4. I thought it was very, very under tiered, so I was like, I should pick it up. Mega Sharpedo. Mega Sharpedo to a lot of people might seem like a horrible draft pick, but I actually think it was one of the best picks that I made in this draft, because for tier 5, for 40 points, we picked up a mon that has 140 base attack. Now, of course, yes, of course, it's not the best Mega in the world. I will not argue that point, but in the same tier as Alolan Raticate and Absol, I think Mega Sharpedo is a little bit better. I think we can all agree Mega Sharpedo for tier 5 is a steal, and that's why I wanted to get it. I'm still very sick, sorry. Tier 5, we picked Sandslash as well for hazard removal and a ground type. I knew I wanted to pick Mamoswine, which was a huge pick. I think Mamoswine was actually my 5th pick. It says Yuxi was here, but I think I picked these 4 and then Mamoswine. Or maybe I picked these 4 and Mamoswine and then picked Tentacruel. I can't remember, to be honest, but it doesn't matter. We have those mons anyway. I knew that if I had Mamoswine on one team, I wanted Sandslash on the other to have 2 ground types and 2 ground immunities. Or sorry, 1 electric immunity on each team. Mamoswine, obviously, Mamoswine is amazing. I can't wait to use Mamoswine. It's a mon, like I said, like Hydreigon, like Tornadus, like Infernape. It's a mon that I've always seen do work, but I've never actually used. We picked up Fortress for a steel type because I thought it would work well. We picked up Rotom Wash, which is great from tier 1. We picked up Chandelure to work well with Fortress and Hydreigon. I felt Chandelure was perfect for this team, and along with Infernape, one can go on one team, one can go on the other. We picked up Togetic, one of my favorite fairies in the Draft League format for Defog and Thunderwave and stuff like that. And like Yuxi, it doesn't have the best especially offensive presence, but you can make it work. Conkeldurr is fantastic for tier 2, and also like it's just a threat. If you have mons, I mean, obviously it's not the fastest thing in the world. Obviously, it's not too hard to kill if you have a good Psychic type or a good Flying type. But you know what? Rotom Wash takes on the Flying types. Fortress takes on the Psychic types. It just seemed like Conkeldurr. Okay, first of all, actually, do you want what really was going through my mind? I have Chandelure and Infernape. I felt like I needed a fighting type on both teams, because somebody drafted Blissey, and that scared me. And that might not even ever, be my problem, but I want my team to be able to take care of stuff like Blissey and Chansey. Actually, I don't think Chansey was drafted, but the fat, normal types are a threat. If you can't kill a Snorlax, you lose. You can't kill it, that's the end of it. But with Infernape on one team and Conkeldurr on the other, obviously, it's going to be much easier to take down those mons. We have Shaman. Great grass type. I've always wanted to use Shaman, and now I finally get to do so. Helolisk, great Volt Switcher. Also gets a U-turn, which is great. Surf, stuff like that. It's just awesome. Oranguru, because I knew we needed another Psychic type on both teams. And Alolan Raticate, because I like Alolan Raticate a lot. I think it's good mon, and it has its uses in the Draft League format. And as long as somebody uses it right, might be able to pick up a few kills. So it's been 10 minutes. Let's talk about the teams that we picked. So Team A consists of Hydreigon, Sandslash, Chandelure, Conkeldurr, Heliolisk, Tentacruel, Shaman, Togetic, Miltank, and Oranguru. It's the team right here. You see that we have Hazard Removal in Tentacruel and Sandslash, U-Turn and Volt Switchers in Hydreigon, Heliolisk, and even, I guess, Togetic, because it has Baton Pass. We have Toxic Spikes Removal in Tentacruel. We have a Fire, Water, Grass Core in Tentacruel, Shaman, and Chandelure. We have a Dragon, we have a Fairy. We do not have a Steel type on this team, but it's not the worst thing in the world. We have Fighting, Dark, and Ghost Stab, which is great. We have Stealth Rockers in Miltank and Sandslash, of course. We have physical mons like Conkeldurr that just wreck things, and we also have special mons like Hydreigon that can drop Dracos and do a ton. I think this Team A is very, very good. I like Team A a lot, and I think against any team, I would, bet myself on Team A for this team. I think Team A is very, very well constructed. And I think it's just down to the players, whether me or Haunter or Infinite can do well with this team. I think it shouldn't be too hard, to be honest. Conkeldurr, Hydreigon. I think it's a very, very strong team, and I think it's hopefully it does well. And then in Team B, definitely the weaker team, but not weak by any means. We have Tornadus, Therian, Infernape, Rotom Wash, Forretress, Uxie, Cloyster, Mamoswine, Shiinotic, Mega Sharpedo, and Alolan Raticate. Now, honestly, this team isn't very strong. It has its very strong points, like Tornadus, Infernape. I think the first 5, and then Mamoswine and Shiinotic are great. I think the first, even Cloyster is fantastic, actually. It's just, I didn't want Cloyster to be with Mamoswine, but we had no choice. We had to, because we just had to. I think the weak point comes in when you talk about Mega Sharpedo and Alolan Raticate being on the same team, along with a Mamoswine, a Cloyster. That's 4 weaknesses to fighting, and we only have 3 resistances in Uxie, Shiinotic, and Tornadus Therian. Only problem is, a lot of fighting types get poison coverage, dark coverage, and rock coverage. So, Fortress will be able to take them on usually, unless they have Fire Punch. But not too many fighting types have Fire Punch. It's a few of them obviously, but we'll be able to prep for that obviously. And yes, Team B is not as strong, but I do think it still has a strong points. We have more Stealth Rockers on this team. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Infernape, Forretress, Uxie, and Mamoswine. We have a Fairy type. We have a Steel Fairy. We don't have a Dragon on this team. We have weaknesses to Psychic in Infernape. That's covered by Mega Sharpedo. We have, I believe, 3 Water types. Rotom Wash, Cloyster, and Mega Sharpedo, yes. But our team does have Mamoswine and Shiinotic to take on the electric types. I love this team. And honestly, I think Tornadus, Therian, Infernape, and Rotom will carry the team enough. Uxie and Fortress will obviously help out. And being able to set up spikes with Fortress, then come in with either Infernape, Tornadus, and Mamoswine and clean up, I think that's a pretty strong team. Now, we already talked about dropping Alolan Raticate. When I drafted it, I thought it would be fine that we'd be able to put Alolan Raticate with... Sorry. I thought I'd be able to put Alolan Raticate on the same team as Hydreigon, because they work better together, because one has Sucker Punch and the other is U-Turn and stuff like that. But Mega Sharpedo, it ended up falling like this. We've already talked about what mod we're going to trade out Alolan Raticate when the draft, not when the bye week comes. I won't tell you that mod here, but just in case another person sees this video in the league, but just know that we've already talked about it. We know what we're going to get. So that is the team, and this is the schedule for people who are interested. We play Team Skull, Team Flare, and Team Aqua for week 1, 2, and 3. We have a trade week where we get to use our free agency. Oh no, actually, the free agency week is this week. So I don't know if you're able to get free agency mons this week. Well, I have to ask, but I assume so. I don't know. We have we're facing Rocket, Aether, Neoplasma, and Magma for week 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then we face Flare, Aqua, and Skull. We play Skull again. I think we play Flare again as well. And then we play Magma Aether, Rocket, and Neoplasma. So 16 weeks. Well, technically 13, because we have 3 bye weeks. So 13 battles. Out of those, I expect to play 9 or 10, because obviously I'm going to be sitting out some weeks. So I expected 9 or 10 battles, maybe a little bit more depending on someone if gets sick, or maybe even less, you know, if something happens it's out of my control and I have to drop a little bit and let someone else take over for me. But that's the team. How do you feel about it? I think the team is pretty good. I like the team. Obviously, Team B is much weaker than Team A, but with the right player, we have those, by the way. We have fantastic players. I would consider myself a good battler, but Infinite and Hunter are great. And with the right team, which we do have with Team A, we could have with Team B. You know, obviously the team, like the 10 mons themselves, may not be fantastic, but 6 mons together could be very, very threatening. So we'll have to see what happens with that. If you guys are excited for the Elysian Battle League Season 4, and you are proud members of the Aggronix, make sure to heavy slam the like button down below first, and subscribe if you are not already, to become a member of the Aggronix. With that being said, have yourselves a wonderful day, and bye-bye.